A lot of celebrities are complaining about cancel culture, saying it hinders their right to express themselves. Politicians condemn the urge to call out certain behaviors and shame people for their words and actions. It is supposed to be a violation of free speech. One of the best definitions I've seen for this alleged scourge is the mass withdrawal of support from public figures or celebrities who have done things that aren't socially accepted today. This practice of canceling, or mass shaming, often occurs on social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I would add that this withdrawal of support can include financial support for the projects of these public people. With all the controversy generated by this issue, I fail to see how any of this is new. There has always been a line society tells you not to cross. We seem to imagine some halcyon past where everyone was able to speak freely without consequence before woke harpies swooped in to chill the free exchange of ideas. A cursory examination of history, however, would reveal a different reality. 60s comedian Lenny Bruce was often arrested on obscenity charges for his comedy routines. Undercover officers sat in the audience waiting for bad language or salacious ideas. One word he was arrested for using, cocksucker, became a catchphrase many decades later on the HBO Western series Deadwood. Political speech during this period could lead to even worse consequences from the authorities. Civil rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer spoke out in favor of black voting rights in Mississippi. Arrested during a bus trip in South Carolina, Hamer was beaten so badly in police custody that she was left permanently disabled. And then there was the FBI's infamous COINTELPRO, or Counterintelligence Program, lasting from 1956 to 1971. Its function was to surveil, infiltrate, disrupt, discredit, and neutralize any domestic organizations the government considered a threat to American political stability. This included civil rights and anti-Vietnam War organizations. They often cooperated with local law enforcement agencies. Among many actions, the FBI tapped Martin Luther King's phone, sending him recorded proof of his extramarital affairs to persuade him to commit suicide. Now you will say these examples are in a completely different category and a long time ago. Although these events were long ago, they do show how restricted speech was in the past compared to now, and the consequences could be much more serious than hot takes from angry Twitter users. The government interfered with speech way more back then, the type of interference the First Amendment is supposed to prevent. People were punished by the state for the ideas they expressed, crossing a line the dominant culture drew between permissible and impermissible speech. Unlike those state-sponsored violations of constitutionally protected speech, cancel culture consists of angry rebukes on social media platforms and some threats to boycott performers. These critiques are themselves an exercise of free speech. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from criticism or consequences. In fact, criticism can improve ideas, not diminish them. It can be cute for children to say whatever. They get more leeway because they are young and immature. It's different, however, when someone is an adult. An adult is supposed to at least consider the ramifications of their words and actions, even if they decide to be a dick anyway. How is it wrong to criticize and hold famous adults accountable? Today, groups who were oppressed by the state through surveillance, arrest, and violence have a greater voice than they did in the not-so-distant past. They are now able to participate in the arena of ideas where before they were excluded. More participants mean more points of view, and more points of view inevitably leads to a lot more conflict. All of this conflict is intensified by social media, the home of the fiery hot take. It encourages immediate comment on the subject, else the offensive opinion fly by unanswered. People who own these platforms know this. This phenomenon increases engagement, creating more revenue. Getting pissed at a famous person used to involve writing a letter to the editor or calling a radio talk show. Now instant gratification is only a few keystrokes away while you're lounging on the couch or sitting on the toilet. In this period of cultural adjustment, people are grappling with a way to properly treat marginalized people after trashing them for centuries. It can be difficult and confusing, but it is a very necessary process.